Can you tell us about your sign today?
It's pretty self-explanatory, no?
What inspired you to bring that out here today?
Fascism.
Can you expand on that?
No, you can look it up.
Have you punched any Nazis in the last week?
That's not something I'm willing to disclose.
Has there been any Nazis here today?
Yes. They're everywhere. They might hold the microphone.
And why do you say that?
Why not? I don't know you.
What do you think is the worst thing the Trump administration has done so far?
Yeah, you're not gonna get anything out of me. Good luck.
Okay, well, thank you. Take care. Well, we're here. We're in downtown LA doing some coverage of the hands-off protest. It's pretty packed, a lot bigger than the Santa Monica anti-Elon protest that I attended last week. And we're going to hear from the people, hear what they have to say, hear what brought them out. Let's get to it. Can you tell us what brought you out here today?
Yeah, so the main reason why I came out here today is because fuck Trump, #1, and my body is my right, and I want to make sure that I'm ensuring the future of my body and my children and all the women that are around me today.
What do you think is the worst thing Trump has done so far?
I can't really say what the worst thing is. It's kind of, I think, the fact that he doesn't hold true to his word and then makes people feel bad for having their own decisions and their own beliefs that are different from his when he promised the same beliefs as we do.
Are you worried about losing the right to choose to have an abortion?
In California, not so much, because Gavin Newsom is the kind of person who doesn't want to see that right taken away. But I am worried about other states. I'm from Virginia, and I worry about that being taken away from other women. I know friends and family that have personally had that taken away. And so it does scare me that...
How did they have it taken away?
So I've had friends personally that have been pregnant, and they were not allowed to get an abortion and were forced to have a baby. And
in what state?
She was in Texas at the time. So she did end up having the baby, and she's now a single mother. And I've also known people who have died. Black women, specifically, we have a higher mortality rate just from dying from birth. So the fact that that right is being taken away from us is very, very heartbreaking, and I would hate to see that future come into fruition here in California.
You've got a lot of flags today. Can you tell us, can we get a shot of those flags real quick?
So
can you tell us about the flags you have?
Absolutely. So I have Princess Leia here, and she's one of the pioneers for queer women LGBTQ community. So of course we want her to be...
Are you worried about LGBT rights being restricted?
Well, I mean, they already are being restricted, right? As we're seeing that right now with trans community, they're having to change their identity on their ID. They're no longer being addressed as the sex change that they want, and that's because...
How do you feel about the sports debate in LGBT? Do you think, I'll say biological men should be able to compete against women in women's sports?
Okay, so on that topic, that's very touchy. I do believe that anyone undergoing a sex change and willing to take that risk should be able to compete in the sport of their choice. But I do feel like there is a biological difference that we can't ignore, of height difference, of strength, just things that are out of our control.
Testosterone levels.
Testosterone levels, yes, of course. So I don't think personally that sex changed men should be competing in women field sports, especially when it's something based on height or other demographics that are all genetic. So it's heartbreaking, but at the same time I think it brings justice back to sports a little bit, because sports were brought on the fact of this binary polar opposite of men and women.
Now, I don't know if you saw the campaign ad Trump put out that said, Kamala's for they, them, I'm for you.
I did see that.
Do you think maybe the Democrats went a little too far with the infusion of transgenders in competing in sports?
I do think that the way they went about it made it seem like they were trying to gain a vote rather than be with us in that front. Like they were trying to buy our support. And so I do feel like that it was a bit insincere and not authentic.
Sir, how much for the t-shirts?
$5, sir. I want everybody to get one.
Did you make these?
Sir. Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to make these?
Awesome hours, man. You got to sit up to artwork and everything. You know what I'm saying? It took quite a while. Had to be up all night to have them ready for today.
How long did you plan this out for?
Oh, when I first started hearing about the march, I said, man, we got to bring something down there for the people to put on the show. They ain't got to shout it, they can wear it.
Was that like a month ago, a week ago? Like what's the timeline?
In my head, like a month ago when all this bullshit started. But during the time, I just got the money to put it together. You know what I'm saying? Take some money to put it together, ink, artwork, what you get shot, and how you gonna print it, and how many you could afford to print. So that's why I just say I get them out and 5 them out, and everybody have.
Is this what you do full time? Print shirts for protests?
Nah, not really. I just know how to silk screen, and when something come up, I jump on it. You know what I'm saying? I learned.
You're a hustler.
I used to have silk screen shop, but I'm just saying now I'm retired though. But when something come up, it's advantageous. I put it out there.
Do you do any protests, or is it specifically kind of progressive?
One that's come up with, like, I haven't did a protest in a long while, but this one maintains everybody, man. Cause this shit is fucked up. This shit is messed up. We got a criminal in the White House. He getting all his criminal buddies in the White House, and people seem like they don't know what's going on. Then now it's affecting everybody. Now everybody like, oh, now we got a crazy man out there.
Well, what do you think is the worst thing Trump has done so far in this current?
Everything, man, everything on his shirt, everything.
But like what specifically?
He like a gangster, man. He jump in like a gangster, man. He won't take shit from everybody that they done set up throughout the year, like welfare or Social Security, man. Social Security is your money. You earn it.
Have they taken Social Security yet?
He want to play with all of it. See right here? It's on the shirt. He won't mess with.
Did you lose your Social Security?
Man, if he get the fooling with it, I lose Social Security.
But he hasn't yet.
Not yet, but the point is, what I'm talking about though, man, it could come up to the time, Jack. But we barely got enough to live off now. That's why I hustle shirts.
Have you made a lot of sales today?
Not really. I made enough though. I made about
It's a good day?
maybe about a dozen and a half. I figured all these people, I'm still got some left. But what I'm saying though, man, I always say this is my motto. If you don't feed the poor, you'll find them at your door.
Can you tell us what brought you out here today?
Fear of the end of the world.
Fear of the end of the world. Can you expand on that?
Well, you know, we're going to get there a lot faster than I ever expected if we don't, you know, change the game a bit.
What are you most concerned about?
Losing control of the nukes. I'm really serious about that. Because, you know, they fired all the people who were running the analysis of the control of the nukes. Now they hired them back. But, you know, if they're going to do willy-nilly crap like that, who knows what else they might do next.
Well, what do you think would lead to the loss of control of the nukes?
Putting a bunch of compliant people in the hierarchy that controls the nukes. And one day, some guy wakes up at 3 in the morning, he's a little grouchy, his Wi-Fi went down, he can't get onto Truth Social, and it's the end of the world.
And what do you think is the worst thing the Trump administration has done so far in this current era?
Well, I'm not a huge Trump fan, but he's just a symptom of the problem. So the worst thing that Trump ever did was allow Ronald Reagan to be elected president.
Can you tell us about your sign today?
My sign?
Yes.
He wants to take a picture.
Well, he's a liar. Don't you think?
What do you think is the biggest lie he's told?
I think everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. I think everything that he says, you should believe the opposite.
Any specific examples?
Where do I even begin? What do you...
You can come join.
This is my son, River.
Hi.
What's a lie that Donald Trump has told?
I don't like him.
That he's not going to fuck this country over. He already has. The tariffs are not going to cause... tariffs are not going to cost the American people money. Yes, of course they are. That he's not going to lie to us. Trust me, everything will be fine. No, absolutely not.
I noticed you have a shirt with swastika and, anti-swastika, excuse me. Can you tell us why you chose to put that pin on today?
I put this on years ago. But, I mean, unfortunately, you do have this oligarch Nazi dude, friends with the president, who's actually calling shots now, so... I mean, it's still significant, which is the awful.
Do you think Trump is a Nazi?
Less so than Elon Musk.
Pardon?
Less so than Elon Musk, but I mean, they're working together.
You believe Elon Musk is a Nazi?
Yeah. I mean, I think Nazi sympathizer at least, which is...
Why do you believe that?
He threw the fucking Sieg Heil thing up during his speech.
So until then, you didn't think he was?
I thought he was wacko, but I didn't think he was Nazi.
What do you think is the most Nazi-like thing Elon Musk has done?
Threw the Sieg Heil up.
We're heading down a starkly similar path that the Nazis, took when they came to power. So it's just kind of scary, the whole everything, and it's a whole lot of shit.
Why do you think the Democrats lost last November?
I mean, when I'm in LA, I'm surrounded by a bunch of Democrats, but Middle America is a lot larger than people realize here. I mean, yeah.
But any like specific reason? Was it their lack of like compelling messaging, or a rejection of the status quo? Like, why do you think they couldn't pull off a win?
Maybe third-party votes. I feel like the third party had no chance. It was
Which third-party candidate?
who was the third-party candidate that people were voting for?
An independent? I'm not sure.
Was the independent?
I'm not sure who the third party candidate was.
If I'm being honest, I only wanted to vote against Trump that election. I didn't care for Biden.
It seems as if the protest budget did increase since last week, because I will say this one is significantly bigger. Can you tell us about your sign today?
Yeah, well, I think it's really important that science is respected because it's truth, and all the BS we're having to deal with. It's so nice to see people out here that agree that, hey, come on, let's talk reality. So that's why we're here.
What do you think Trump has done to hurt science?
Oh, I think just being a liar. I think just denying
grants.
Yeah.
Defunding grants for museums and defunding, everything that has anything to do with science, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting the science, you're just going to fall back into the Middle Ages. So, so we're out here like we were about 4 years ago. So it's kind of crazy. We're still out here.
Why do you think he is defunding science initiatives?
I think he wants to send us back to the Stone Age. That way he can control what we do and what we understand and what we know and how we behave. So.
What do you think is his end goal?
Oh, I think just to keep himself in power and stay out of jail until he, until he kicks the bucket, So.
Do you think he's going to try to run a third term?
He'll try. I won't doubt that he'll try, but
it won't happen. It won't happen.
Well, that's what we said when we said he would never get elected in 2016.
Now, one final question for you. Why do you think the Democrats lost last November?
I think there were a lot of people that were just thinking about themselves. And if they just heard what Trump said and they felt that, hey, this guy's going to give me if he says what he's going to do, I'm going to be better off. And now look at us, So
Kamala was a bit of the same status quo as Joe Biden. Why do you think they rejected the status quo?
I think it was just, we need a change. And unfortunately, she was just a little too close to the status quo. And so, unfortunately, Plan B didn't go so well. So here we go.
Last time I was on this street in downtown LA, it was 3 weeks back when I was running the LA Marathon. Looked a lot different. Can we interview you? Does it need to be in dinosaur?
Sorry, I'm really sweaty.
Can you tell us about your sign, sir?
Well, my sign just means that I'm a senior citizen and I can only afford so much. I depend on my Social Security, and 25% out of my Social Security is just not going to cut it for me to pay my rent, pay for my food, my insurance. It's just impossible. So,
have you lost your Social Security yet?
Not yet, but I'm being told that I got to save as much as I can. So I'm starting to collect aluminum cans again.
Who's telling you this?
The neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood are frightened, just as well as I am.
Which neighborhood?
Oh, I'm out in the South Bay, Wilmington. So, we don't have too much to rely on over there on jobs. So I can't get a part-time job. So I just got to go with what I got.
What do you think is the worst thing the Trump administration has done so far?
Not be transparent with everything that he's up to. That's what I think.
You don't think they've been transparent with the Doge website where it's showing their audits?
No, because there's previous people in his administration that have already proved that he's devious. There's a guy.
Did you see the
anonymous book writer?
Do you think Trump is a Nazi?
Oh, no, I don't think he's a Nazi. He's just a selfish person. Everybody that's selfish and greedy, they think they could get away with it. That's about it.
So a lot of people have signs that say Trump is a Nazi. Why do you think they have those signs out here today?
Well, because the Nazis were pretty greedy people. They didn't care about hurting others.
But you don't think? But you said you wouldn't think Trump is a Nazi.
Most selfish people are selfish people that don't care about the harm they cause others. It's that simple. It's from a child learning to be selfish, their parents learning to be selfish, and they both reinforce each other. And it's just a venial sin to a mortal sin, to immorality.
I hear you, yeah.
The Nazis, they didn't care about what harm they caused others. They were being selfish. That's the bottom line, selfishness.
But you said you don't think Trump is a Nazi. Do you think it's justified for the people to have those signs out here today?
He has a psychological problem, okay? He's fixated on just himself, selfishness.
But do you think
You
the
don't
sign?
have to be a Nazi to be selfish. Everybody could be selfish to a certain extent. You don't have to be a Nazi.
But do you think the signs are justified?
I don't know about that. I don't know too much history, okay? So what can I tell you?
Are the Democrats hungry today?
No. I don't know. No. No.
What?
Sorry.
Well, what do you think of the speeches being delivered today?
Pues. Sorry.
It's okay. God bless you. So I've been here for about an hour now, walking around, talking to lots of different people, and I can tell you, this is a lot more of a hostile and not friendly crowd than the prior protest I went to in Santa Monica. The people here are kind of stopping and eavesdropping as I'm interviewing people, and they're kind of like sticking their head in, wondering like, what is this guy saying? Is he on our side? Is he not on our side? And it's, to be honest, like somewhat intimidating, but I care about finding the truth. I want to get good coverage, and we're going to keep pushing. Can you tell us about your sign, please?
Yes, in terms of I'm a senior, and just my husband and I are depending on our Social Security, which isn't much, and we paid for it our entire life. I'm 80 years old, so now's the time that we need to put a stop to this. Don't privatize it, just keep it where it's dependable for us all. So that's the reason for my sign, to keep your hands off of Social Security.
Have you had your Social Security cut yet?
Not yet, but I'm keeping an eye on it as recommended by the bank that I'm currently banking with, because I have it automatic deposit into my account.
What did your bank tell you?
They told me just to keep an eye on it, make sure I keep getting the deposits that I get.
So your bank informed you that Social Security may be cut?
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking.
No, they didn't inform me. I just mentioned it, brought it up to them in terms of what's going on with the Social Security. Should I be worried about it? Because I automatically get it coming into my account. So they just recommend that I just keep an eye on it. And I bank with Chase Bank.
Why do you think your Social Security is going to be cut?
Because of what the oligarchs are talking. The Republicans always talked about it with every president. They always wanted to privatize it. And we know about privatization. It does not work. It's secure the way it is right now. So, of course, with the muskrat, is what I call him, is talking about, cutting Social Security, talking about his fraud and all of this craziness, which is a total lie. They have found some discrepancy, but that's with anything, but not enough what he's talking about, like 300 people or been on. So that's crazy and nonsense.
And how do you stay up to date on news and information?
I listen to the podcast, Midas Touch, mainly on YouTube. So I keep touch that way. And of course, I have a friend that works Social Security and in government positions as well.
Do you think Donald Trump is a Nazi?
Absolutely. And I think that we all should be focusing in on where we are right now. It's fascism here. Anytime he disobeyed the laws, he disobeys everything that the legal system. The way he talks is a playbook from Hitler. Everybody needs to go back and read about Hitler and see his steps that he took.
Why do you think America rejected Kamala and chose, in your words, a Nazi instead?
There's a lot of factors to that. It's just not one. 1, racism. 2, misogynist. 3, people don't have any integrity at all. They just want to become power, kissing, doing, changing over. And I can name all the Republicans that did make that stance.
So why do you think racism when America did elect a black president twice?
Well, the situation we're in, as you know, coming from, I'm sorry, my mind, since I'm 80 years old.
You're good. You're doing great.
The names don't come to me as but who followed with before Obama that started the Iraq War.
George Bush.
Yes, thank you. So after that, people were just so disheartened, so upset about the lies from that war. So again, it was force out there that was able to nominate him for president.
Now, I was just advised by a man named Ted that I should acknowledge the stolen land we're currently documenting on, and Ted was here in attendance with his wife and his wife's boyfriend. What brought you out here today?
Well, I just can't believe that Donald Trump is trying to overtake Greenland and that Elon Musk is, his stocks are crashing because no one wants to ride in a Tesla anymore. And I just want to stand up for, this country.
Where are you from?
Originally Tasmania.
How long you been in America for?
For about 2 years now in Hollywood, just, filming on IP2.
Can you vote?
I can't vote, but my girlfriend can. But she didn't vote for Trump. She voted for the Kamala woman.
Why do you think Kamala lost?
I just think that there was too many people that were backing Trump. So,
Do you think Trump is a Nazi?
I do actually think that he is that.
Why do you think that America chose a Nazi instead of Kamala?
They were just very brainwashed.
How so?
Just by the media brainwashing them to think that this person was going to save the world, but they did the complete opposite. And they put the world in turmoil with a trade war.
Hands off Social Security.
Did you make this sign?
Yeah, sure.
How long did it take you to make?
About 15 minutes. Yes.
What brought you out here today?
Well, the whole situation, it just is every day. It's something worse going on in our country. We're losing our First Amendment, as you guys probably are aware. It's eroded. We don't have consensus on what a fact is anymore. So without that, how can a democracy have a chance? So these things are really important to us. Yes. We used to work right over there in the LA Times. So that stuff used to really matter. We were careful with our facts.
They won. That's
right. What did she say?
She thinks Harris and Waltz won.
What do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think they're capable of anything. The guy is a criminal. He's a convicted felon. So that's how his mind works.
I'm seeing a lot of signs that say deport Musk. I guess I didn't know this was going to be a crowd that's so in favor of deportations. I think I can without a doubt say this is probably the most vaccinated crowd I have ever been in. Now everyone's kind of sitting around. There's some music going and some speeches and a lot of joints being smoked. And it kind of feels like we're at a really gay Coachella. I got to be honest with you guys. As a 29-year-old single guy, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing much talent. Now, behind me speaking is a transgender who is being very vulgar and is currently saying fuck them, as you can hear in the background. What brought you out here today?
I am not a fan of the president and very disappointed in every single thing that he's doing. Hated him the first time, hate him this time even more.
What do you think is the worst thing he's done this time around?
Get elected. I think the worst thing he's done is get elected.
Do you think it was a fair election?
No. I don't think it was a fair election.
Why do you think that?
I don't trust what happened. I don't know if I could prove it ever, but I'm not thrilled with it.
Any speculation?
No. But it's not my favorite election. I don't think he was definitely not elected by a vast majority, as he says, but I'm happy that people are coming out.
What are you most concerned about?
Every single thing that he's done. I'm not happy with, he's ruining the country that I love.
Can you expand on, though, like anything in particular, like any executive orders or anything like that?
Every single one. I'm very patriotic. I love this country. And I think he's destroying the Constitution. He's destroying any social programs, anything for the arts, anything that is pro-citizen. They're all being destroyed.
Do you think Trump is a Nazi?
I wouldn't say he's personally a Nazi, but I think that he likes people who have white supremacist thoughts.
So I've seen a lot of signs today that say Trump is a Nazi. Why do you think these people have those signs?
I think that they don't really understand what it is, but I don't think he's smart enough to be a Nazi. I don't think he reads, so I don't think he really understands what that is.
Do you think Elon Musk is a Nazi?
I think he really likes Nazi tendencies, yeah. I think he loves the idea of power.
Now, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they said that this thing has a strict cutoff of 8 p.m., They said, well, what about 8:30 p.m.? And they said, no overtime. I've had some really nice interviews today, and particularly to Carol, I want to say, my heart goes out to you.